Alright, there we are. So we're gonna see if the audio still works. Alright, preview still working. Hurry up and do it. So the health still seems to be fine. I'm gonna delay the start of this event though. Still 60 frames per second, 8.6% on the GPU. Can I send this somewhere where I'm not gonna need it? It's just don't go on that frame. Oh, it pops right back up. Nope, I need you back. There. Hopefully that didn't mess anything up. It says I've been recording for 2 minutes, live for 3 minutes. That doesn't hide unless I get that. No drop frames. Everything seems fine, so let's see. Transition this over. So now I have a live desktop. Open up Chromium. There we are. Just checking a few things out. Close that. Open up Visual Studio Code, because that's probably where I'm going to be most of the time. Just making sure that the quality is fine. According to OBS, I am fine. I haven't hit yellow yet. And according to YouTube, I am fine. So, I think we're in good standings. Also, we'll see if we could hear that. Hopefully not. But I think I do have it where only I can hear that. So, yeah, we'll see how that worked. Hey everyone, or every one single person. Apparently it can't hear you though. No, I can hear you. It can't. Give me a second to figure this one out. Alright, I'm gonna test something out. When I say now, I want you to speak, okay? Now. Alright. Found it. Alright. So now they should be able to hear you.
Coolio.
Yep, much better.
Am I too loud or what?
You're about the same volume as actually probably a little quieter. I'm bumping you up right now.
Okay.
Because I had it softer.
That's fine.
Alright, talk again. Like normal talking.
Talking.
Sounds good. According to green bars, you are fine.
Okay.
But that's just me. I can't hear the audio that's coming back from it, so.
Right.
So what's that? Yeah, can you see that my right side of the screen?
Yes. No.
Well, sort of. Top. It's small.
I can see where your cursor is right now. Yes.
That is basically like an audio board. There's lines point to the different services. And so that's what I'm checking.
So you're basically checking what picks up what?
Oh, well, I can say, okay, I want the system right here is my microphone. It's connected to that's probably Hangouts right there. Google Hangouts, and also connected to microphone. That microphone is on my recording software, so it picks it up as a microphone.
Okay.
And so when I come over here, that shows up as this green bar down here.
Okay.
This one right here, the next one, and you see how they're numbers. I can't really tell what they are.
Oh, I can't see the numbers. But okay.
Well, they're numbers.
All right.
They're not. This is apparently my audio for like the background music. Which, by the way, do you want to hear?
Sure.
See how magical this is? I can plug and play things. I don't know if you like listening to that music or not, but
what music is it?
It's Popsky still. Well, it's still Popsky.
Oh, still. I'm digging it. Freaking Game Over Shane was like the funniest thing in a while.
But that's
pretty
why.
great.
But I want to see somebody try to do this in Windows. Sure, the names aren't the best because they're just numbers. But being able to plug audio around like that while live streaming, it's like the best feature ever. Also, just a plug in for Linux as well. For people that are watching, we were talking about the WannaCry ransomware.
For whoever's watching. I think I'm the only one watching.
Woohoo! Yay!
Woo!
Yay! I would do another video with you, Zach, but you did 2 last week.
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, I could do one by myself. I prefer to talk to somebody. It feels more conversational that way. See, I've also been working with a friend on GitHub.
What have you been up to?
He's getting used to Golang, so it's kind of working on he was working on the project himself, but he wants me to review his code and stuff, so. Yeah, he's connecting to databases here, reading configuration files. Apparently the configuration file is a JSON file. I prefer YAML or TOML, but... I think it's YAML. Yep. The YAML webpage is in YAML. Ha!
Oh god. What I'm seeing, that does not look pleasant.
YAML stands for yet another markup language, by the way.
Uh-huh.
Oh, be quiet. Hold on, let me find, I gotta figure it out. Oh, that's something different. Never mind. I just heard him singing.
You thought it was Game Over Shane?
It's not. But yeah, so this is YAML. I think I showed it to you once, haven't I?
Yeah, you did. Because of that one thing that you were trying to do.
Yeah.
With the config file.
So, I like YAML because it allows this. Like, even though it is technically just turns it into JavaScript, to me it's a whole lot easier to... So, YAML as an object, or this is a list. And I prefer YAML as an object because it's a single configuration file. So like something that I'm currently working on would have, like I would have a Couchbase configuration. Inside of the Couchbase configuration, I would have, I think it's a colon, isn't it? Yeah.
Maybe this isn't good enough. You're trapped and frozen. But you know, I think I'm really upset. And things could get a whole lot worse, I bet. So hang on. On your mark, get ready. Are you ready? Get set. Come on in.
Let's see, I would have, what, the host, which is HTTP, whatever. Then you would have port 292, I don't know. But you see how it's building it out for me? And it makes it a whole lot easier. Then I can have, I'm working on something for Teams. So I could have, Javelin, Echo, stuff like that. But also, they are, like, for example, these are actual objects, so I can do Javelin is also a service they're a part of. A service they are a part of is, or services, because it's multiple. Check-in and system, right? And see how easy it was for me to go ahead and just pop out these things in a nice structured fashion, so I'm not just like... So now I can just raid through this configuration file, right? Oh, it makes it so much easier. So, yeah, I know I'm kind of going through it, but let's see. I think Golang has a YAML parser. Yep, there it is. It is about a updated April 7th. That wasn't long ago. But yeah, I like using it. Makes it simple. Alright. Leon's gonna join us today?
I don't know. Dave said that he was gonna be late, but I don't know, man.
So it seems like these live streams have been going downhill since we started.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind doing them. It gives me something to do, but
Right.
if no one's...
I mean, like, the goal of it is more just, like, specifically as a resource to, like, look back on during the season, or just, like, for anyone interested.
Not
But,
even to
I
look
don't
back on, but just in your
To
free
know.
time, start brushing up on things.
know. Mhm.
But the live stream is just a way for me to interact with you guys. But
But if no one's getting on, then
yeah, if no one's getting on, then I'm not going to be doing these videos if no one's willing to get online with me.
right. Oh Lord, my eyes.
Have you heard from Atosh?
No. Why?
As I haven't heard from him in a while.
Oh, well, I mean, I know that he doesn't want to do robotics next year, so I don't know.
I still wish he would come this year, or at least help out with these videos.
Mhm.
Do you know why he doesn't want to come back? Is it,
I don't know specifically. I'd imagine he's just not enjoying it anymore.
okay.
That's my guess.
I thought he felt underappreciated, but that was...
That might be why, but like specifically, I don't know why.
Do you play video games?
Yeah.
What games?
League,
Ew.
Guild Wars.
Ew.
What, you don't like MMORPGs?
I like MMORPGs, but that's like RuneScape and
Oh.
those. Not the.
What do you do?
Well, see, League of Legends is not an MMORPG. That's a MOAB. What MMO?
Yeah, League is a Moab or MOBA.
Whatever. I don't know.
Moab. Yeah, League is a MOBA.
Whatever those things are called. So, have you heard of Dwarf Fortress?
No.
Oh my gosh. It is what has
I'll look it up right now
inspired
because I feel like you'll. Joy Fortress.
Dwarf.
3D puzzle. What?
Dwarf.
Wharf Fortress? What? Wharf Fortress?
Here. I just
Dwarf.
look at my screen. Just look at my
Dwarf
screen.
Fortress. Dwarf. Okay, I see.
So RimWorld apparently was off of it. Stonehearth, which I would really wish I could play on Linux, but it's Windows only. I think Minecraft even had an idea off of it. Is RimWorld? Oh, it is Linux. I may play it, but I don't know if this image is big enough for you to see it. But that looks like Prisoner Architect. Did the same person that did RimWorld do Prisoner's Architect? You don't even know what games I play, do you? I play
Nope.
simulation games. But what it is it's
Okay.
an RPG game. It's not an MMO, but it is an RPG. But you're controlling a bunch of dwarfs, and you have to make sure they're fed and all this and that, make sure they don't get attacked. Hearthstone is a game that I really wish I could play, because it reminds me a lot of it, but a 3D version of it.
Yeah, I play Hearthstone.
Yeah, but that's Windows only. I even have it purchased,
Yep.
but I can't play it.
Dude, what? Rip.
It says it works on Linux. What?
Does it?
Well, according to
Oh.
this.
Huh.
Let me see. Official website. Does it work for Linux? Single player, very positive. Where's the machine? Like, I know it usually tells you where, like... System requirements, Windows. So it has to be Windows. Man, that sucks. What about Craft the World? I don't know. That looks interesting. Windows. Or Mac. But not Linux.
Right. We'll get there eventually.
Yeah, this says Windows right there. No, they won't get there eventually. It's the drivers are not supported, or certain drivers are not supported. Which technically I do have Windows. I do have a copy of Windows. But... anyways, let's get back to programming. What are you most interested in right now? Also, when are exams over?
Oh no, my exams are done.
Sweet.
Yeah, right. Finally done. So yeah, I've just been kind of scurrying around, working on the website.
So, website stuff.
Yeah.
How's that going?
It's going. I'm using the thing that you had. You know what I mean?
The one that I have on GitHub?
Yeah, the Heroku web app for your catering. I'm using that format.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about this one. Okay.
Oh no.
Have you seen this one yet?
No, I haven't really looked at it.
Do I have it? Yes, I do. So what's really cool about this is it's hot. Like I have to run a dev server for it. Which is, it looks like it's taking a while to do it. But this is what it looks like. Very simplistic, but it uses Google's material design that I was talking about. But also uses Vue.js as the JavaScript framework. Sorta. I mean, it's not a framework, but let me see. I also want to go into it this way.
Deep is here.
No, he doesn't exist. No.
Okay.
He's not allowed to, because he's 30 minutes late.
Okay. I mean, he at least said he'd be late.
I know. Anyways, so let me show you what I mean real quick while I'm here. So this is how it's set up. You have your index.html, which is very minimalistic. You'd have a title, which you can of course change to whatever you want. And you have different style sheets that I import. So I import material design icons, material design, I think that's a font. And then I have to set a viewport for like mobile devices. Material design, typography. I think that's for like spacing and stuff and how things are put on there. Then you have to. Then we start a grid.
So is this grid system kind of like Bootstrap's grid system?
Yes. Okay, so this is where actually Vue comes in, right here. So this main.js is it's the main. Well, really, this is the main bit of it right here. So index is this, but then the app.vue is the main JavaScript. This is the main HTML.
Okay.
And to load this HTML, you may need some JavaScript on it. So what we do is we create a view object on this, On ID app,
Okay.
that's why these two match.
Mhm.
On mounted, I call whenever this object is mounted onto the page, I need to set up a toolbar to fix that top alignment.
Okay.
And then here's some scripting, and this is in SAS. I don't know if you've heard of that. Alright, so I import the SAS, and then I start doing some CSS stuff on it to make sure the background is the way I want it to be, and space. And that background is actually just the logo. If I go back over here, that's this little bit right here. So then you have this router view, and that's where your pages are actually loaded, which makes it simple so that whenever I call the path hello, or when I call over the root path, it loads the component hello. So and this is where your cards are put in, so the different the links that I have in there and stuff like that. Yep. And so if I clicked on a link, yeah, so it's a single page application. Yeah, it's a single page application. So this is like a template that houses everything, and this is the internals that actually changes. And then you have it, of course you have to specify the name of this component, what data it has. Right now the data is pointless, but it's a little better because it just returns welcome to your Vue.js application, which replaces this up here. So, and then of course I just have to import a few SAS components because I need to be able to use them throughout here to make like the list and the cards and stuff. And you can make them scoped, so you can say, hey, I want this scoped only to this object, so it doesn't actually bleed through. Making things interesting. But once everything's done, so like if I can update something live, and whenever it does, it will update this. So let's see, for example, if I change core docs to documents, for example, and I save it, if I go back over to that page, it's already refreshed and reloaded for me, which is nice. That's just a little bit of the fanciness and why it's so big. Yep, that's what all these files are for. It's the configuration of it. But what's even nice is you see how they're all different files and all that. If I come back over here, close this, do npm run, I think it's, or npm build, I think. Nope, maybe not. Is it? Is that what I wanted? Nope. Oh, it is, but I just need run build, so npm run build. There we are. So this is actually going to build like the production version of it for me. So it says building for production. I know you can't see it. I can. There we are. So there we are. Starting to optimize CSS, put all the CSS into a file, and here's the actual files themselves, right there. Can you read that? There we are. So you notice how they have this weird hexadecimal thing at the end, and that's so whenever a page is loaded using this, it always uses the latest information. So if you update an application, instead of caching it in the browser, it's forced to refresh because it's a different file. So it's smart about that. But, so if I go to not static, there we are. If I go to distributed, you notice the HTML is all mashed together. Which is supposed to, because it loads over the stream fast. It includes all of your import statements or all your JavaScript that you needed. Then you go into static, and I have two folders. There's all my CSS, if you cared. Right? So there's the CSS, and this is the map file for it, so if it knows where everything is. And then here's some of the JavaScript. Apparently there's a few files for it. So that's actually my JavaScript. So you see, remember how I showed you the return? Welcome to Vue.js. Well, that's it right there. The rest of it was compiled together, minified, nuglified. And there's some more of it, and even more of it. And so even though it looks pretty on my end, whenever compiled down, it sends off and sends a stream stupid, like, it's compiled down, so it's less files. And it's simplified for me. So it's really nice to use. But, yep, that's how I use that. You said Deep was online. I haven't heard from him. Oh. Alright, Deep, did you have an idea of, like, a project you wanted me to work on, or... You name it, I can do it. How much time do you have is a different story. Okay. If the project you have in mind is... Yeah, I agree. If it's too big, we can break it into multiple videos. So it doesn't have to... But you would spend the whole live stream doing it, but we'd have to be conscious on actually splitting it up into separate videos. Which is fine by me. But... Anyways, so there's that. Not sure if that's what you want to do though. I don't know if you want to go down that route. I think we wanted to cover Java Basics 2. Also a little bit more into Git. And then the next one's a toss-up. We wanted to go into WPI lib, but it's a little bit more complicated in that because it requires like the real-world examples, like actually getting stuff done and showing how like a sensor is used, how motors are used, stuff like that. I can't show that through the computer. I can show you how it's coded, but then you would want to see it actually work in the real world, which is a different story. So I could go through Java Basics 2, but I don't know about WPI lib, so if we're doing 3 videos, we need an idea for a third. If we knew, we would have dragged them in here. Alright, well, I'm gonna get myself something to drink real quick before we get like too started. Here, listen to music while I'm gone. No more music for you. Oh. He didn't like the music, did he? So, what have been your interest lately? I know Zach was Golang. Yeah, that might be the way to take is. But I don't know. What do you not know about the robot code? Because I just don't know where that would lie. Can you guys talk again? Alright, for some reason the stream had you disconnected. Can you talk again?
Oh, bro, no.
There it goes. Why did it disconnect you guys?
Wait, can you hear us?
I can hear you guys, but the stream couldn't.
Oh,
But now the stream can. Okay. I'm glad I caught that, because we would have done a whole recording without me noticing.
Rip.
Yeah.
Rip.
Alright. So, if we go to do the robotics one, let's see, I gotta actually go into the right folder. I don't know where to start. I kind of went through the loops and how everything's connected, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is a lot, and I understand there's a lot.
Mm-hmm. So, like, what about basic stuff that someone should know?
I think we already covered that.
Yeah, like what is classes, that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, that.
Are you talking about mainly like commands, command groups, how everything's called, yes, I'm not sure.
I think on deep. So when you say that you don't know a lot about robot code, is it that you don't know like specifically what to do or where to begin?
More of what to do.
Okay. Well, we covered like the basics of like iterative robot already in like the first robot code video, and then as far as like what to do, it's kind of just like fill in that like structure.
Yeah, 'cause I said autonomous did this, but and then we talked about commands, but we never told them how they were connected.
Hmm.
It's we went over subsystems briefly. Man, that would be something we covered, but I don't know. We need to get started on a video though soon.
Yep.
Especially if we're gonna push out 3 of them.
Deep, you be in them.
Okay.
Which one are we covering first?
I think Java Basics would be the fastest one, or the easiest one. Right?
I think I favorite or starred Zach's outline. Let me go find it real quick.
Okay.
Okay, there.
Alright, so which, you do have the outline for the Java Basics?
Yes. Operators, if else, for while, switch statements. That's better.
Alright. Alright, let's see, so we're gonna start off with operators, which is plus, minus, divide, multiply. We mentioned modular. I mean, before I do that, let's actually make sure I can remember how to do modular.
It's just remainder math.
I know it's remainder math. What I'm saying is I need to see if I can find a way to test it. For int I equals 0, I is less than 10. Let's do 9. I plus plus. So I gotta make sure I know how to write loops too. There we are. If I mod 3 if I mod 3 equals 0, system.out.println factor of 3 is what I'm gonna do. How's that? And now if I do Gradle build, then Java jar, let me increase that size. Java jar, I think it's build libs Java jar. There it is. Factor of 3 only shows up 3 times. Though it looks awful when I do that, so I'm gonna have to resize this. There we are. There we are. So factor of 3. Well, how's this? Is a factor of 3. Now I can do I plus. Well, I gotta build it again. There we are. 0, 3, 6, and then we could do this into 100 if we wanted to. Because, I mean, Java is... it's slow-ish, but it's not slow. So, there we are. So that's modular, or modulo. Alright.
I will
Do you
mute
be up
myself.
for it?
Yeah.
Alright, do you want me to introduce you, or do you want to introduce yourself?
I could introduce myself. I guess isn't that what we've been doing the whole time?
Yeah. Except I made
Alright.
Zach do an intro once, so.
Oh, okay.
Alright. Hey guys, it's Will Dixon. I'm here with Technomancers Team 1758. I'm one of the mentors for them. And I'm also here with...
Deep Patel, and I'm an upcoming programmer for the team.
Alright, and we're covering Java Basics 2 today. So I guess, I wouldn't call it intermediate. It's still basic material, but they're simple things. So I'll let Deep get to it. What things are you interested in right now with Java?
Alright, so say I wanted to work with two variables, or pretty much anything, such as add, subtract, divide, or anything of that sort. How would I do that, and what actually is that called?
Alright, so if we're going to talk about numbers and math, we're going to be working with operators. Operators are like add, subtract, multiply, divide, and there's one called modulo,
Okay.
which is something different that most people don't know. But most people do know about add, subtract, multiply, and divide. So, just as an example, let's just add two integers. Int a equals 1, and int b equals 7, right? Let's actually make it a little interesting. Let's do 2 and 7. Alright, so there's a few things we can do with it, right? We can, so we can do a few things. We can add the two variables together. We can subtract them. And those are your normal symbols. You're used to these symbols. We have the addition and the subtraction. Let me make that a little bigger. There we are. Addition and subtraction. We do have multiplication. And since multiplication, it does not matter. It's not an x, because x is a character, so we use the star instead. But with multiplication, a times b and b times a are the same thing, so it doesn't matter. With divide, it's a little different, because you can do a divided by b. So we're going to say div a for sort of dividing a and dividing b by a. What's different between these two, or the two dividers, is you can only divide by integer. Well, I say only. When you divide by an integer by another integer, you're going to get an integer back. Even if it is supposed to be a decimal value, it's going to truncate the decimals and not care about it. So a way around it, let's do b divided by a again. I'm gonna spell this one out though. Equals what we call I think it's a double is what I want. So we're gonna cast. Casting, it means turning a variable into something else. So we're going to cast b into a double, and we're also going to cast a into a double. And what we're going to do, because this will return a double, it won't return a int. There we are. And what this will do is it'll actually return the decimal value for me. And so just to prove these few points, we're going to do system.out.println a bunch of times. So we're gonna say sum is the sum. This plus sign doesn't mean adding numbers like this does up here. This means concatenate, which means take this string and add a different string to it. And Java is smart enough to know how to turn an integer into a string. So we don't have to worry about that. Sum, subtract, multiply, divide a, divide b, and then divide. So subtract, which will be sub, multiply, which will be mult. We have divide a, well, dividing a is what I'm going to call it. And then we're going to be dividing B. And I'm going to call this one dividing A again. But you'll see the difference between the two, even though this is dividing B, excuse me. But you'll see the difference between the two. So, let me go ahead and build this real quick. There we are, we got it built. Oh, I'm building it again apparently. There we are. And so, here's our different values. You can see that the sum of 7 plus 2 is 9. If we subtract 2 minus 7, it is negative 5. We can multiply two values, so 7 times 2 is 14. If we divide 2 by 7, of course it's 0, because you can't, it would be smaller than 0. It's a very small number. But then when we divide B by A, it is 3. Not 3.5 like here, but 3 because it truncates that 0.5 because we divided an integer by an integer. But the divide B is 3.5 because we made sure that both of our values are actually doubles, and so forth we can get a double out of it. Does that kind of clear things up with operators and how to manipulate those values?
Yes, a lot actually.
Alright. So, what else would you like to cover?
Okay, so say that I had a program and there would be multiple outcomes, which would require a user to input some sort of value of something. So if the user would have input this one value, it would return this one statement, and if you were to input another value, it would return another statement. So what would you call those, and how would you work those out?
Alright, so you would use what's called an if statement. So if user input is this, then do something else. If user statement is this, do something else. Or else, if I can't handle it the other two, do something else in general. So these are called if, else if, and else statements. And they look very similar to this. Ignore the build errors, because I'm currently just roughing it out. So that's what an if, else if, and an else statement. So if input equals something, right? Then let's do system.out.println hello, right? But let's say they input something else. They input hi, because they already did something, so they're gonna input hi, for example. Println, how are you? Alright, and just in case, if they put something I can't understand, we're gonna put this in the out statement, because I don't know what they're asking for. I've already I covered the two things that I know about. So now I'll sound like a legit computer saying, sorry, I don't understand. So there's a few things here. We have to cover what these operators are. These are called binary operators. So, not binary operators, Boolean operators. Boolean values are true or false. So you call truthy values or falsy values. Very blunt, true or false. Notice how there's a double equals, stands for equals. If left equals right. This does not equal, let me put in parentheses, not the same as a single equal sign. That single equal sign means to assign a value to something. Double equals actually checks to see if the left side equals the right side. If so, return true. If not, return false. Another one, which is opposite of equals, is not equals. Right? But we also have less than. Less than. Greater than. We have less than or equal to. Less than, equal. I'm gonna put just that, just shorten it up for me. and greater than or equal to. And most languages can compare many different things together. String values, for example, integers to make sure that, or numbers in general, so not just integers but doubles and floats, but they got to be of the same type or else you might get different values that you're not expecting. So these are the simple operators, or Boolean operators. So now let's fix this input, and I'm going to actually take the args. So we're going to say string input equals, I think it's string.join. I have to hack something together for it to work correctly. But there we are. Just know that this takes all the arguments that I pass in through the command line and assigns it to input as a string so that I can use it down here. Alright. So, let's actually build it out. And let's pass in nothing, for example. Right? Sorry, I don't understand. Apparently I've had a little single quote there, which is going to bother me if I don't get rid of it. So, sorry, I don't understand. Well, I didn't say anything. So, let's say something. Right? It says hello. Because what happened is it recognized that my input was something. So, if input equals something, it's going to output hello. And it skipped the rest. Because that's what an if statement does, is it drops out of it. It won't even check these two statements. It's done, because if this, that's it. Then if we do hi, how are you? Right? It checked this was false, so therefore it didn't go into it. Then it found this, oh, I do understand that, so then it went into it and said, how are you? And then I say fine, and then even though I input something, input does not equal that, input does not equal hi, and therefore it went into the else statement and said, sorry, I don't understand. So, that's the basic if, else if, and else statement.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as you were talking, I was actually doing a little bit of research on if else myself.
Okay.
And I was actually came across something called a for while statement. So could you elaborate on what those are?
Okay, so there's a for statement and while statements. So going back, I'm going to keep the Boolean operators because those are important for both of these statements. This handles a lot of logic for you if you know how to handle them correctly. I'm not sure if I'm going to need this, so I'm just going to comment it out. So let's see. Let's do a for loop, right? A for loop is simple, like for this value, do something. A for loop is usually used with integers, and you'll usually see it as an I for an iterator. But for just purposes, I'm actually going to call it iterator. You have to set it a default value. So for an integer named iterator, and it starts at 0, semicolon, I want to say do something if the next statement is true. So let's do it 10 times. So if the iterator is less than 10, keep going in this loop. And then we need to tell it how to actually increment this iterator. And that plus plus is another operator that I didn't cover before, but that just increases instead of so I plus plus is the same as I equals I plus 1, right? So I plus plus is just another way of adding 1 to itself, and so I'm just incrementing this value. And so we'll just do system.out.println, and we'll print iterator out. And build it, and let's run it. And you'll notice it goes from 0 to 9, right? This is 10 values. It did go through that loop 10 times. If you count it, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. It went through this 10 times, but it started at 0. And that's why most things, like arrays and stuff, when you get further down along, you'll notice they start at index 0 and go up instead of index 1. And that's why this worked and went 10 times. So that's a for loop. We can do something similar in a while loop. So you'll notice this while loop is very similar, except now I need to actually int iterator, and let's set that equal to 0. So I'm setting the iterator outside of it right now. So we'll do iterator is less than 10, right? Then I could do system.out.println iterator, right? And then I need to make sure I increment it, or else I will actually have an infinite loop if I'm not careful. So we'll increment it, we'll build it, and we'll do it again, right? Same output. So you may ask, well, what's the point of having two things that do the same thing? Well, this just accepts a Boolean value, right? Whereas this for loop actually takes in a number, and so it takes in the initial state, what to do, or when to loop, or loop if this statement is true, and how to increment. This while statement is actually slightly different. So I can say while try, or let's actually make this a Boolean value, right? So I'm going to call this a Boolean value of try again. And I'm going to make that equal false. Or make this equal to true. Right? And I'm going to put try again inside of here. So while try again, I can do something in here. So I'm going to kind of... I do need to have this, or else I'm going to run into an infinite loop. So I'm going to put that there for now. There we are. So while try again, we're going to print out hello, right? But one key difference that I can do is if iterator is less than 10. Wait, if iterator is greater than or equal to 10, meaning it's gone over what we want to try again equals false, right? Because I don't want to try again. Else, meaning it doesn't equal greater than or equal to, I can increment the iterator. So now if I try this, let me comment this out because I don't want this coming into wherever it is. Let's build this. Actually got to build it again because I didn't save the file. There we are. You'll notice hello got printed out this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 times. The reason for the 11th is because it starts at 0. It prints out hello first and then iterates through. You know, if you follow the loop, that it makes sense. If I did this at 9, it will actually print out 10 times. Because it prints before it actually does the check to see if it should go through the loop again. So this becomes really powerful where I'm not actually doing an iterator, right? I'm actually doing something. And if something happens in that statement, I can tell it to stop the loop or not. That's a very, very powerful tool right there. So they're handled in different cases. There's also a thing as a for each loop. So int I in is, for example. But this requires an array of items. So we're going to call this is as a new array list of values of type int. Make this actually of type int as well. Why didn't it like that? Doesn't it be integer? Yep, that's it. Still didn't like it. Anyways, just know that there's this thing called an array, and an array is just a list of items. And what this loop does is it takes a single item off of in that loop from the very beginning and sets it to I. So then I can do something on side of into I itself. But array cannot be resolved as type, so I might have to just do an array list as type integer here. There we are. And I'm wondering if I could set the values of them here. Apparently not. So if I do is.add, yep, I want to add 1 to this. So I'm adding 1 to the array list. Let's add another. We'll call this 3. And we'll call this 7. That way you know that it's not actually iterating through a number, it's actually iterating through this. We can do system.out.println, and we'll print I out. And if I build this, well, I say build it. Why did it? Oh, it did go through it all. I just don't have this stuff commented out because there we are. It's still going through those loops. There we are. 1, 3, and 7. It actually went through this array list and started printing them out for you. Which just becomes really powerful when you need to put stuff into a list and then you need to go through and read them all again. So, I think that covers most of the loops. The for each, for, and a while loop. Those are the main ones. So.
Alright. Yeah, that was pretty helpful. And also, looking at all these statements, I also came across another one called the switch statement. So, could you elaborate on that as well?
Yeah. A switch statement is very similar to a if statement. Just there's one difference here, that it's always, you have a key and a value. So, let's see, something with a switch statement. Let's bring this back in. Or we're gonna switch on the input. So if input is this, we're gonna do something with the value. If the value is something, right? I'm gonna use the value that we did before, right? Then system.out.println. What did I say? I said hello first, didn't I? And then I can put in another case. So instead of having to put if and then whoops, case colon. Why does it? What's wrong? Oh, there's 2. Okay. Break. Now if something, and then I said hi, it would say system.out.println. How are you? And then this default will be called if it couldn't find a case above it. System.out.println. There we are. So this is going to do something very similar to the if statement, right? But the reason this is a little different is I'll show you a little nifty trick that can be helpful in some cases. I really haven't found too many though. But instead of having to do if, else if, else if, else if, else if, and keep doing that, you can use a switch statement because if input equals this, do this. If input equals this, do this. If input equals default, do this. And I did it again here. But so we'll build that and we'll run it with something. And you'll notice it says hello, right? I can also say hi because it told me hello, and it says how are you. But if I don't put anything in there, sorry, I don't understand. If I put something that it doesn't understand, it still puts something I don't understand. So this is very, very similar to an if statement. But what makes this nice, and there's some uses to it. Not all, there's not many, but there are some uses, especially in math. If I say something, right? What it's going to do without that break statement there is it's going to fall through and go to the next statement, and then since I don't have another break statement, it's going to fall through and do the default statement. So if I do something, Oh, I didn't save it and build it. Give me a second. And there we are. Hello, how are you? Sorry, I don't understand. See how it fell through? Now I can go into the middle of it and say hi. And it falls through still, right? But if I don't say anything, it just stays at the last one. And I can tell it to only fall through on certain statements. So if I do the something, and yep, here we are, something, it won't fall through. It'll say hello and stop. But if I say hi, now it's going to fall through to the next statement and say, sorry, I don't understand. So the switch statement is a little bit, it's a little bit more flexible than an if statement, in the sense that you can fall through to the next case. But it only handles if this key is equal to this value. So only equals. It doesn't handle all these other operators that an if statement can handle. So you get pros and cons to both.
Alright, yeah, that was pretty helpful. So, just to clear it up, whenever you would write break, that would be for any other input value that the user would put in.
Are you talking about like right here? You're talking about
the one, yeah, break right there.
Yeah, this is a special word. It says, hey, this equals this. Execute the code that comes right after it. And then when it sees this break statement, it automatically skips outside of the switch statement. So that break is a special keyword. It's not specific to any user input. It's a special keyword for switch statements.
Okay. I understand now.
Okay. Alright. Well, I think that's enough for today. Thank you, Deep. Those are very useful information that I think we covered today.
Alright, thank you for having me.
Not a problem. Thank you guys for watching. If you did like this video, please hit that thumbs up button down below. Also subscribe as well. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye. I think we hit about 25 minutes on that one.
Yeah, that felt a bit.
Yeah.
But we did cover a lot of good information there.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so that's it for this one.
There were like sirens outside, and I didn't want them in the video, so I was like, oh,
It's like, uh-oh, the popo are here for me.
The popo's after you.
Uh-oh.
I don't know,
No,
did you guys
they
hear
found
Alexa go off?
Wait.
yeah.
Now, so I have one of those Alexa dot things, and it went off.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man.
So,
Alright.
anyways, I have to go for like a quick second.
Okay.
Be thinking about the next video and what you guys want to cover.
Sounds good.
I'm gonna mute me, but you guys won't be muted, so.
Whoa. Deep.
Control.
Is he gone, Deep?
I think so.
Okay.
Alright, we can take
It's
over.
time for us to,
Shine.
take over the world.
Yep, just through a simple code, we got this.
Mm-hmm. How are you, Deep?
Oh, I am fine. How
Do
are
you
bro?
still have homework and stuff?
Yeah. I gotta
Lame.
write like an English reflection and then prepare for the final IOP.
Lame.
I know, right, bro? You're lucky. You're done with IB.
Nah, fam, dude. I'm so bored. Like, what is there for me to do? It's so weird.
Oh well. You're gonna leave us.
QQ.
You know what? You
BRB crying.
dash you.
Oh.
Oh, real.
I'm also sorry for that magic statement that I had to put at the beginning of the if statement. Because I think so Deep, last time when Zach and I were on and we tried that video, I couldn't figure out why I couldn't get the strings to equal each other.
Oh, okay.
And there's a special case in that sense. If I go into it, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Get Technomancers. So this is special YouTube content. Or not YouTube, this is special live stream content, right?
Whoa.
This isn't going to go on the stream because I didn't want to cover it. Yeah, this is it. So this first statement right here, it seems kind of long and convoluted. So args is an array of arguments, and so this just joins them together with a space, as if I typed them inside of the command line, right? But this in turn is a special thing, and it says, hey, I don't want the string object itself, because string is an object. Everything in a language is an object, right? But I want the actual value of this string. I want the internal guts of the string and save it to this input string so that I can actually do comparisons on it. If I just went ahead and said, if I said this right here, if I told it just to join it, it creates a new object on top of that object. Or something weird, funky like that. I don't know exactly what Java does underneath, but whatever Java did underneath, this will actually fail out in that it won't equal either of these.
Okay.
So it was that was a learning experience for me, having to do that just to make sure that strings actually equal strings. But good thing we found a way. Now, didn't mean to throw magic into that video, but I had to, so that it actually worked.
Okay.
Alright, what's the next video gonna be on?
Git or WPI live.
I don't even know like what we would cover with WPI Live, so I'm thinking Git.
Git next?
Yeah, and just like the basic Git tutorial.
Alright. So I'm gonna have them next to each other. Is that big enough?
I don't know what we... Yeah.
Alright.
So this would be like the second video in this one, because you already had a Git Basics video.
Yeah, this would be Git Basics.
With the concepts of
GitHub. This would be GitHub, wouldn't it?
Didn't you already...
No, I did a Git Basics, which shows like the very, very basics of like very basic of basics.
So this one would be like...
Also, I don't like when my camera is because it won't be displayed.
Do you want to first make a repo on GitHub and then clone it down, or do you want to make one locally and then push it up?
Why not just do it live?
Yeah, no, I mean like in the example, do you want to like make one and clone it down, or make one locally and push it up? Like in the example, whatever.
I'm not sure. What do you guys think about the camera position for this? Should I have a camera?
I think it's fine. Well, actually, maybe we'll put it a little
like
bit
that?
code in the gray area.
Do what?
No, the gray area, you can't go there because that doesn't show up on stream.
Oh, you mean talking about like down below?
Yeah, down below or up above, it's not gonna come on.
Yeah, the right hand side of the screen doesn't show up. It's the big side. I'm talking about, actually, if you look at the live stream, my camera's in the dead center. Or I say dead center,
Like out the
top
top
center.
too. Yeah.
So is that fine? Because I don't want, because it's gonna cover up a good bit of it. Like, let's see, from here to here. So about.
I mean, if you're gonna be doing like.
I'm not gonna be switching repos. I'm gonna be creating a new repo.
Yeah. I mean, you should still be able to see like everything that actually matters.
Alright.
Yeah.
From there, I imagine.
All right, because I don't think I'll be writing strings that long anyway. So I think it's a good position for the camera.
Deep, do you want to do this one too?
Is this our second one, or I mean,
This would technically be the second one in like the Git series, but
we're covering more of the GitHub side of things.
yeah, specifically working with repos and stuff now.
I mean, I guess, but like, I don't know what I would talk about.
Oh,
Like, what I would ask. If I'm
Mhm.
more into it, yeah.
Well, something first to cover. Well, something first to think about is what did we cover in the last one? In the Git basics video,
I covered a lot of the
like commands.
No, I didn't even cover commands. I think I covered a little bit of it, but not much.
Did you cover like, the concept?
I went over not just the concept, but like how commits are pushed and all that. I went into the internals, like the deep internals of it.
So then for this one, would you want to show how one could create a repo on GitHub, actually show like how the UI shows branches and stuff, and then demonstrate the commands, how you could do work locally and then push it up?
Okay. Where do you normally start?
What do you mean? Like if I start working on a GitHub repo?
If you needed to create a, do you start working and then create the repo later, or do you create the repo then start working?
I create the repo first and then clone it down to my computer and then just start working.
That's the
typically
easiest
what I do.
solution, I think, because the other solution is to add the remote repository. Using Technomancers.
And I hate like having to look up that command every single time.
I know, it's git remote add origin and blah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see
But
the
then
blah.
you have to do. Well, the blah is the HTTPS github.com, your name, and then the repo name.
.git.
You don't have to do the .git.
Oh, really?
Nope.
Word. Damn.
There's also. What is it? There's also. And even though you added the remote repository, you have to git fetch it first, so that it knows about it, like pulls down all the information for it. And then after you do a git fetch, you got to do either a git rebase on origin master to put your code changes on top of its top of its changes, and then push it up. So let's just cover creating a new repository and cloning it down.
First.
Yep. Let's see. Horizontal. That's what I want. No, it's not what I didn't want you there.
Well, I'm gonna quick be right back, use the bathroom.
Alright. No, this is a good view. I like this.
It covers a little bit of the code. Just that little part right there.
Well, no, I was gonna remove the camera.
Oh, okay.
I was just saying I can move the camera back because I have this view now. Right? Alright, so coming up as a new programmer, should I open up VS Code and do file changes there? Or should I do it inside of Vim, just so I can stay within the terminal?
I think you should stick to VS.
VS
Personally.
Code?
Yeah.
I figure out how to
Well,
do
actually,
this.
what works better with Git?
Both of them work fine.
Oh, okay.
Of course it opened it up over here. I don't care. Dang it. Alright. So I'm just gonna have to put it there. That's where I want it.
I have returned.
Cool.
Whoa.
Alright, so I'm gonna have the screen like this. I know it's a lot on one screen, but at least it shows the point, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want to have to do a bunch of switching on camera stuff. That takes up a lot of time. So can you guys see the GitHub page fine, like text and everything?
Yes, I think so. Even the commits, wow.
It's small for me. But it's probably just me.
Is it small? There.
On the stream.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
I
not
didn't
looking at the stream, so.
Oh, I mean the stream, it's about the same for me.
The stream's a little bit better for me.
Alright, so the stream is fine?
Yeah.
Alright.
Well, actually, just quality, but, you know, I think that'll change when we upload, right?
When we upload it should. Why is the
Okay,
quality
then.
not so good?
I mean, it's like a little blurry, but you can still see faintly what's going on.
Yeah, because supposedly I'm pushing 1080 at 60 frames per second, so that may be
Magical.
just because it can't render, or your stream, you can't render it.
I mean, if it's gonna be fine when we upload it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
It's fine.
it will. Because it's completely different thread. It actually records separately from the stream.
Oh, yeah, then it should be fine.
Yeah. Because this is the smallest I can have the screen without GitHub jumbling everything up on me. This looks too big for me. There we are. Alright. So who's doing the stream this time?
I guess I am, because I know more about Git than Deep does.
Alright,
So?
yeah.
You know more about Java than Deep does.
Yeah, true. Deep, quick. Think of the questions that you will have to ask.
No, I'm
Contemplate this.
I'm kidding. Alright.
But also, in all reality, does Deep... Do I actually know more Java than Deep? I
I don't
wonder.
know.
All I haven't known is coffee.
Okay.
Low-key, I don't even drink coffee.
Deep knows more about Java than I do, obviously. I don't drink coffee either.
Hold up,
I don't
guys.
drink coffee, though.
Hold up.
We dumb boys.
I like coffee, it's nasty.
Cat.
Kitty. This is my shoulder cat.
She
Say
does
hello.
not like being held.
No,
She
she's
does not
fine.
like being held.
No, she
That-
loves it actually.
That's not what it sounded like.
I was squeezing her to make her meow.
What the heck, bro? Call PETA up in here.
Brutality.
Alright.
Animal
Sorry.
abuse.
I had to.
What the heck, fam?
Now I got cat hair everywhere.
He's so cute.
Let me go turn on that light real quick because it's getting dark in here. I know you guys can see me because of the light and stuff from the screens, but it still
Yeah.
looks better when the light's on.
He's gone, he's gone.
Oh, thank goodness. Bring back the cat. Hashtag bring back the cat.
There we are. There we are. Much better.
Hashtag bring back the cat.
Alright. Oh, somebody must be talking about me. My nose has been itching.
It's a Chinese thing. What?
Woo! Alright. Woo. So, it's Zach, you're doing this one, right?
Uh-huh.
Alright, this one's gonna be difficult because I can talk for a long time about this.
Okay. That's fine. Let me pull up the timer.
Where do you want breakpoints? Let's put it that way.
Oh. So... I'm going to ask... Well, what I'm planning on asking is how to start a project, how to begin working on it locally, how to push up local changes. Those are the 3 main things. So...
Alright, do you have your computer up where you can clone down?
Yeah.
And push changes?
What?
You do have your computer set up where you can clone down stuff from GitHub easily, right?
Oh, so that you want me to do it right now?
Like on the
Or
like
just
while
in
I'm doing videos, I want you to push something up as well to the new repository
Ah,
to show how to pull down new changes as well.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get it. Hold on, let me quick make it like a small file so that I can easily edit it in Vim or something.
No, don't edit the file. Don't edit a file. Add a file. If you
Oh,
edit
add
a
a
file,
file.
we may have to go into merge conflicts, and I do not want to go down that rabbit hole.
Okay, sure, that's fine.
So we're
Let me
gonna
quick
create a
on
new
my
file.
laptop then.
I was gonna create a readme.md. You create.
Like a hello.txt.
Yeah, that's fine. That's actually perfect.
Yeah.
Alright. I'm gonna start recording now.
Hold on, wait, turning on my laptop.
Wait.
Takes a while.
I didn't know you didn't have your laptop up.
No, I'm on my desktop. My laptop was off for a while.
Does your desktop not have Git?
Okay. Actually, it doesn't. Hold on, I need to fix that. Okay.
It doesn't have to have it, I just figured it would.
Yeah, right. Like with freaking all I'm doing on the darn website, I should have it. Ah, technically.
Yep. Let me know when you're up and running so that I can start recording.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I was going to start recording early, but there's no point in creating megabytes of size.
Mhm. Deep.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, so for my, you guys know that I can solve the Rubik's Cube, right?
Yeah.
And I can solve the 4x4 and the 7x7 and all that fun stuff.
Okay.
Well, one of my friends,
A mini 3x3.
yeah, I've solved it, but trust me when I say when turning it, it's a different story.
I mean, your like one finger is literally bigger than it, so.
Yeah.
I know.
Holy.
So, yep.
What
There's
in the
this.
world?
Oh, let's see. Do I have a browser open? I do not have a browser open. That is unlike me. I should always have an instance of Chrome up. Always. This is. I want. Let's see. Is it? Yes. This is the cube I want.
What is that?
It is a
Show
Rubik's
us.
Cube. It is a Rubik's Cube.
I saw one time. It's so hard to solve.
I want one of those. It is a
What I'm
3x3.
confused about- what I'm
Each side has
confused-
9 pieces.
That's so cool. What the heck? Wait, what I'm confused about is how does the rotation work?
It doesn't work on a normal axis. That's why. I mean, look at the
Well,
way these
obviously,
pieces.
but I mean,
Look at how
yeah,
it's
no,
all.
but oh lord. What?
It's like off angle. So you know how it's like normally in a vertical and horizontal plane. It's
Mhm.
actually at an angle, is what most of the axes are.
Whoa.
So you have that angle right there.
That's so cool. What the heck?
Right? But apparently, they went out of their way and made different versions. So you still have the 2x2 and the 3x3, and then the 4x4, as if the 4x4 wasn't hard enough. Then it looks like a 5x5 and a 6x6.
The 2x2 looks hard as freak anyway.
Right? Actually,
Okay.
the 4x4 is harder to solve than a 7x7.
I think I'm. Hold on. Hello? Toolbar? Where you at?
Missing.
Actually, how much are these things? Because I just got myself a new laptop bag, and I love it to death. So, I was looking at these. Have you guys seen these before? It's
No,
called a
no.
Kunku grid. All it is a bunch of elastic bands that you can put stuff up under it. And it's nice for organizing things inside of a bag. So like a bunch of cords and stuff like that that I would be using. So, yeah, there's an example of it. And so that's how I would be using it. And I would like that for my bag because I have a bunch of cords and cables and USB drives that I just stick somewhere. At least I would have a better place here. But ooh, that blue one looks cool. Huh.
I think I'm about to DC.
You're about to do what?
Oh, never mind. Like the video stopped, so I thought I was about to DC.
Is the stream fine? I mean, YouTube hasn't had an issue with it. It says I'm fine.
Oh yeah, this stream's fine actually. It's just not like Zach's voice is like blurred out or something. Oh, never mind. It was him. He said his internet died for a bit.
Too many devices connected. If his internet went out, how is he typing?
Data maybe on his phone. I don't know.
So... No, I've already switched to Spectrum. Like, technically, I was still under a time on our cable plan.
We were supposed to get a new plan some time ago to like give us more megs of speed. But
Yes,
we never
right.
got-
I never got offered it. I'm about to call them up and see if I can just like kill the internet one day. Just switch over to their Spectrum plan. 'Cause I don't mind like killing my contract and starting up a new Spectrum plan. Because one, half the price and twice the speed is what I'm looking at.
Yeah, that's what you want.
Do you want me to bring the cat back?
Oh yes.
See, she's less upset now. Alright. Oh, she's still in my lap, of course. Get down. If one of them goes down, right? Alright. Okay. So, gotta get this cat hair off of me now. Alright. So, what is the title of this repository gonna be? I hate coming up with titles. Okay. Alright, that's fine. That's fine. Alright, I'm gonna start recording now. Zach, do you want to do the intro or do you want me to? Again, just leave yourself a 5-second pause. You want me to do it? Alright. Hey guys, it's Will Dixon here. I'm with Mentor for Technomancers, Team 1758 for First Robotics. I'm also joined here with... Alright. Yeah, so, one tool that has been a great help to us this year, we've already covered a video on it, but that was the very basic core ideas of it. I think we're going to go into a little bit more details today, is Git. Git is a version control software, as mentioned before, but more specifically GitHub and the public repository, and communicating that way. So you have a centralized database for all of your code, pretty much. So I'll let Zach take it from here real quick. Oh, pause Zach. It doesn't pick you up in, Yep, hold on. Why is it doing this?
Me. That's why. I don't know.
Zach and Zach with doppelganger.
Hold on. I gotta go delete that real quick, because I will forget about it, and I make sure I remove the right one, right? What's the time? 36. That seems close enough.
I mean, I can't see, so whatever you delete, man.
Alright. Okay, now I got audio back. That would have been a one-way conversation.
Lit. I mean, hey man, you could have sounded like a crazy, and that would have been probably funnier.
Yep.
It's like, what's up, guys? I'm here with Zach, my friend.
I'm hoping that first video went through fine, because I didn't know I would have this much problems with Hangouts in a separate channel, but this allows me to bump up the volume of you guys if you're too soft or vice versa, so I kind of like this way better.
Do you want a quick check to see if that video file went through?
Yeah, we might as well, right?
Yep. Deep, while we're doing this, try to think if there might be a third video idea, and if not, then I guess we're only doing 2 videos this week.
Alright.
Alright, do you want me to introduce you, or do you want to introduce yourself?
I could introduce myself, I guess. It's not what we've been doing the whole time.
Yeah. Except I made
Is it gonna like
Zach do
pick up my typing and be too loud? Hopefully not, right?
It will pick, you're gonna be on your laptop or desktop?
Desktop or laptop or whatever, but...
Does my mic pick up my keyboard?
Type right now. A little bit.
Like faint. It's like slower than a Zach. Zach is pretty...
So I'm gonna quick type like
Zach's
gibberish or whatever. I'm gonna type gibberish, okay?
Yeah, bro, that's like loud, kinda.
Ugh.
Yeah,
right, I'll swap to my laptop then.
Yeah, use your laptop, that way it's not as...
Okay.
Your doppelganger's gone.
Yes! I am supreme.
Oh, let's... Okay. Alright. So according to the video, though, I was able to, It does have... It was the correct video, 1. Make sure I removed the right one. And 2, it did pick up deep, so...
Okay.
That's good. Alright. Recording again. And let's see if I don't stumble upon words this time. Hey guys, it's Will Dixon. I'm a mentor for Technomancers, Team 1758 for First Robotics. I'm here with...
Zachary Zhao, what's up guys? I'm a senior programming captain for the team, and I'm here to help out until I sadly leave the team. RIP.
Yeah, well, at least he's sticking out. Season's over, but he's still helping out for future teams. Freshmen for next year will hopefully be able to see these videos, right? So, today we're going to be covering a useful tool that we've already covered in a previous video, but we're going to expand on it a little more and actually cover the part of it that we actually use. So it's Git, which is a version control software, as mentioned before. But I covered back there like the concept and commits and the nitty gritty detail stuff. I guess it would have been basics, but for me, understanding that made it easier for me to use Git. So I kind of wanted to cover that. Today we're actually going to be covering GitHub. It's a hub for Git. It is a centralized database for all of your code. So I think we're going to get into that. I'm going to let Zach take it from here.
Alright, so the first thing that has to happen with GitHub is that knowledge that GitHub is this online place where people can make these project repositories. And repositories are kind of like project folders where a bunch of work geared towards one like project idea is placed and located. So when we're working on robotics code, we typically make a GitHub repo for the season. So this year we actually had a 2017 Steamworks repository, which Will is currently in right now. And that's where we actually push all of our code and all of the things we're working on so that the different programmers who are working throughout the build season and outside of the season can actually see what changes other people have made and make it so that the actual progress of the project is less redundant, so that we don't have, say, 2 or 3 people working on doing the same thing. So the basic steps for starting a project repo on GitHub, first, obviously, you have to make the repo. So Will, could you actually walk us through how to first create a repo on GitHub?
Sure. So I'm going to cover 2 things first. GitHub has an idea of a user and an organization. So I am signed in as my user, and if I go to GitHub, just GitHub itself, you can see all of my personal repositories that are tied to me. If you were starting off for a team for First Robotics, I would consider actually making an organization. Creating an organization is simple if I could figure out where you could do it. Right here. So you click on that drop down that has your name and create organization. We created one for our team, Technomancers, and this is where we host our code for Technomancers. So this allows Zach, who is another user of GitHub, to have his own repositories, but then we have a centralized location for our team's code, so it doesn't have to stick with me, because I would like to be a mentor for a long time, but sooner or later I might not be able to be there, and I want somebody else to be able to use the code. So we do have a centralized location for it. So for this tutorial, I'm actually going to put it on the Technomancers Git repository stuff. Anyways, you see this green little button called New Repository? I wonder what that does. Yep, so we're going to create a repository. When creating it, it will ask who the owner is, and of course I can choose myself, but I do want Technomancers to own it, so that Zach can also get it without having permissions, and he can push and pull, and there's a whole permission tree behind it, and it is amazing. But for right now, we're just going to cover the very basics of this. So I'm actually going to say we're going to name it Fluffy Doodle.
Oh, yes.
Because it said, great names are short and memorable, need inspiration, how about Fluffy Doodle? Great. I suck at coming up with names anyways. So, you can give it a short description. I'm going to say, covering GitHub basics. And, no, I'm not going to do that yet. Well, yes, I am. Yeah, we're going to do that. And a .git ignore is a little bit more complex than this video is worth. And a license, my personal opinion, you can add a license to your project. I like using GNU General Public License version 3. Little shameless plug here, but with that, it means your code is open source. People can use it for free. But if they make modifications to that code, they have to give you back that source so that you can use it as well. So I kind of like that one because it goes with the open source community. I give you code. If you make that code better, please give it back so that I can also benefit from it as well. So that's kind of why I like, I think Linus Torvalds, the guy that actually made Git and Linux, or Torvald, I don't remember how to, Linus Torvalds, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Guy that made Linux and Git. This is the license that he prefers as well. I think he actually prefers version 2 over version 3 because of certain reasons. But for me, version 3 is fine. But for this project, we're not going to cover one. Sorry for that long and obligated. Go with a public one, as public is, of course, open source and everyone can see it. And you don't require certain permissions for it, and it's free. If you create private ones, you have to start paying for it. With Technomancers, since we are an organization, an educational organization, they allowed us to get a some private repos. So definitely try and look into that. So anyways, we're going to create that repository. And there's a README. So that's creating a repository, Zach. I know that was long ago downloaded.
Yeah, no problem. So, okay, after you create the repository, like how Will just demonstrated, obviously the next thing would probably be, how can I start pushing work up to this repository? So actually, Will, if you would be so kind, there are a few different ways to actually edit the files or create new files in a GitHub project repo. So you can actually do it from the website inside like the repo on GitHub, like Will is showing right now. You can create a new file, upload some files from your computer, or you can actually, even if you click on a file, like if Will would be so kind as to click on the README, you can edit the files there too. Another way to do it though is that you can actually pull the repository down to your computer and then make changes there locally on your computer, and then push them back up like we covered in the previous Git video. Push up the changes that you made up to the online repository. So Will's kind of circling around it right now, but if you wanted to pull the repository down to your computer or device, you would have to do this thing called cloning or downloading. Will and I especially I like to use cloning because downloading kind of don't really
Downloading
feel like
doesn't actually copy the repository; it just copies down the current version of the code.
See, okay, I wish I could have said it that way, but thanks.
Yeah.
So we clone it. So Will, if you could just quick walk us through how to clone down a repository.
Alright, so with GitHub, you have to have permissions and stuff. We may cover permissions in another video as it becomes a little bit more complex when we have to cover permissions. But there's two different ways we can clone down the repository. We can clone it down using HTTPS, which uses your normal credentials, and you might actually use that instead because you just have to log in that way. So if you actually copy this and do the next step that I will show you after it, it's going to pop up something and say, hey, please log into Git to make sure you have correct rights, and then it will clone it down. But I set mine up in such a way that I don't need a password. I say that. I have it a different way. I'm using public-private key pairs over SSH, a little bit more complex. Just know it's still just checking to make sure I am me, but I'm letting the computer do the work, whereas if you do HTTPS, you have to do the work. So anyways, you're going to copy this to clipboard. Notice that both of them have it. I'm going to copy to clipboard. And then I'm going to come over to a terminal. And I'm going to navigate to somewhere that I want this code to exist. So for example, I'm in my home directory. I have a Git folder in my home directory. And then I have a Technomancers YT for YouTube directory. You'll see there's a few other things. So Java Basic, JavaScript Basics. The code that I was actually covering in the previous videos are here. I haven't uploaded them to Git though, but that's just a nice place for me to put everything. But I'm going to do a Git clone, because that's actually what I'm doing, is I'm actually cloning down the repository. And then I'm going to paste in that value, right? Which is for, wow, why is it still highlighted? Please unhighlight. Oh well. Anyways, it is, there we are. Unhighlighted. Anyways, so we have git at github.com, technomancers, fluffydoodle.git. Notice that this right here matches pretty much, well, you can't read it, but what's inside of the URL of GitHub. Except for there's a colon here because of SSH, but if you go to HTTPS, that is the link. That is what's inside of the URL. So it matches perfectly. So it's a great tool. So if you know where it is on the web, you know how to clone it down. So anyways, I'm going to push enter, and this is the authentication part that I was talking about. since I'm using a different way, you're not going to have this specific window. But if you're using HTTPS, it would probably open up a web browser. If you set up your keys differently, you can set up your keys to not include a password. But I am Fort Knox over here, and I usually protect everything, so...
You have things to hide?
Yeah, I mean, my whole hard drive's encrypted, too.
Well,
yep. Alright. So anyways, Git's great and phenomenal with giving you input on what happened. So, we have cloning into Fluffy Doodle. So, what just happened is it created a folder for me. You notice how before I didn't have it. Now I do, called Fluffy Doodle. The next part is just saying how many objects, blah, 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 blah. It's pulling down everything that I need. And you'll also notice up in Visual Studio Code, I have it opened up inside of this directory as well, that I have Fluffy Doodle, right? And look, there's that README file. That README file is the same that's right here, right? That Fluffy Doodle covering GitHub basics, that's what this is right here. So I have cloned it down, I have a copy of what's online, which is perfect. Now I can start doing whatever I need to, right, Zach?
Mm-hmm. And I actually, during that explanation, I also cloned it down using HTTPS. And basically, now that I have a copy of the repository and Will has a copy of the repository, we can actually work on it technically at the same time, and then we can push up our work. So actually, the key thing to note here is that if someone else pushes up work into the repo, then in order for you as a user to maintain the most up-to-date version, typically you would use this thing called git fetch or git pull. So just to show that off, I'm going to quick write a small file and then push that up to the repo. So I'm going to name this hello.txt.
Alright, before you push up, do you want me to show them how a commit and push work? So that they know what you're doing?
Go ahead, while I'm just quick doing this.
Alright, so let's go how to develop in this cycle, right? So Fluffy Doodle, for me, I like to have a space there. Doesn't really matter. But also, I like having capitalized titles with no dashes. So I'm going to do Fluffy Doodle. And then I'm going to rename this to the fluffiest doodle of them all, right? Now, of course, you would actually do code changes, right? So you might have installation steps, right? And then you'd go through one dot, download this, right? And then 2, run this. And then 3, which is voila. I'm pretty sure I spelled that wrong, but voila, you're done. So anyways, so I edit this file, right? And if I do a git status, which shows me the status of my current git repository, notice I did navigate into Fluffy Doodle, by the way. So I'm going to do a git status inside this repository, and you'll notice, hey, I modified the README. And then it even tells me a few things. Changes not staged for commit. Use git add to update what will be committed. Use git checkout, whatever the file is, to discard changes in the working directory. Well, I actually do want to commit this change, so I'm going to do this git add, right? Git add, and then I'm going to do readme.md. I'm going to push enter. Now if I do git status again, oh, now it's green instead of red. And noticed, hey, changes to be committed. Okay, well, I'm ready. But there's this git reset head if I want to unstage it. Well, I don't want to unstage it, so what do you do next? This is where you actually make the commit. So if I do git commit, it's going to pop up a Vim terminal, V-I-M. And this terminal is a little different. It's a text editor still, but it's a terminal text editor, making it a slightly more difficult. If you get in this terminal, push I, and you'll notice in the bottom left right here, you'll see how I'm in insert mode. So now I can give it a commit message. What did I do in this commit? I changed description in the README. It's a good idea to always be as descriptive as possible in that first line, but not changed README, right? Because, okay, I noticed you changed README, but what did you change about it? Well, I changed the description. So to get out of insert mode, you push escape, and you noticed it went away in the bottom left. And then you hit colon, in the bottom left you see the colon, and then WQ, right? The W stands for write, and the Q stands for quit. And when I do that, Git noticed, hey, he wants this to be the commit message, and says change description in the README, right? This is what this is. Now if I'd run git status, your branch is ahead of origin master by 1 commit. That ahead of origin master means that, hey, your local changes are different than the changes that are up there. So I need you, if you want everyone else to see it, you need to push it up. So I'm going to run git push, and there we are, right? So how do I know it actually went up there? If I refresh the repository, oh look, I refreshed the page over here, and GitHub knows about my change. Fluffy doodle, the fluffiest doodle of them all. And then the installation steps. Download this, run this, and voila. So that's what Zach's doing in the background that he was saying earlier.
Right.
Alright.
So actually, just real fast.
Okay.
As Will was saying, yeah, I'm basically doing the exact same thing. Will did a really good job of actually showing with git status all these different things, like step by step, what you can see and what to look for. So right now, I actually created an example file called hello.txt, and right now I'm going to push up my changes to the online repository as well. I just have to authorize it, and my computer's being slow.
Lovely,
But
right?
oh wow, actually, I forgot to do something, and good on Git to actually catch this. So as I was saying before, how if I try to push something up, well, if there's more than one person working on a GitHub project, then you typically want to pull down all the changes that other people might have made, just in case, you want to have the most up-to-date repository and all the work. So actually, I forgot to, well, I'm going to say I did this on purpose, and I didn't pull it down yet because, hey, I wanted to see what happened. And the computer was like, hey, hold on, you messed up. You didn't have the most up-to-date version of what's online. So you should pull that down first so that when you push up your own work, you will actually be correct. So how that is basically happening is that if I'm pushing up my work, it's basically what is different on my computer will kind of replace or update what is different on the online repo. So now that I've pulled it down, I'm going to now push it up, and crossing fingers, and it should push up just fine. And yep, it's pushed up, and now now Will, you can see my question to you and to maybe anyone else.
There, notice I refreshed the page and I see the hello text, and that's his little avatar, which is a cute little avatar. Anyways, so you'll notice his commit message is merge master, blah 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 blah. That was his git pull. What the git pull does is it sees what's like out there, and it will merge in those changes into your changes. And so when he does a push, it shows that as well. So that's a little bit what's going on in the background there. But that's a little too much for this video. I think last video actually covered what a merge was. But anyways, his hello text. Hello, workers of Fluffy Doodle. How are you today? So I wanna respond to this text message, or not text message, this text document, or I think he made a typo or something. I don't know. Anyways, but you'll notice I don't have it locally either. I don't have it local yet. This is what Zach was talking about, right? Let me actually cover what he had before. Let's say I forgot to add something to the README. I'm not going to do anything by pulling down the repo yet, because I want to show you that error message that Zach actually had. Anyways, so I forgot to add something, a to-do list, because there's always something to do in programming. Always, right? Do something. Anyways, I'm going to save that, right? I'm going to do a git status. I have aliases. Ignore that. Git status. You'll notice I have a modified file. I'll do git add readme md. If I do a git status again, there it is. If I do a git commits, there's also a shortcut. So if you don't want to have to open up Vim, you can do a shortcut with -M like this, and open and closing angle your quotation marks. And that M stands for the message, and that's going to put that inside the file, so you don't have to open up Vim and kind of convolute, does everything. So I'm going to say added to-do list, right? There it goes. So this actually, if I do a git log, you'll see this is what's up there right now. This is what I'm currently on. This was my last commit, and the title, initial commit, change description in the README, added to-do list, all that fun stuff. You hit Q to get out of that window, by the way. And then I'm going to do a git push, because I'm ready to push up my changes. But you'll notice, oh, it was rejected. Why was it rejected? Failed to push some references, right? And failed to push to this. Updates were rejected because remote contains work that you do not have locally. This is to make sure that my changes will not affect what's already up there. So I need to pull down the latest. So I'm going to do a git pull. This is that new command that I want to talk about. I'm pulling down those changes from the remote repository. There we are. And it asks for a commit message. Because what's, again, as I said, a pull does is it takes what's up there and merges it with your current changes. It does smart decisions on what has changed, what hasn't changed, and merges them together. And it sticks you inside of a Vim terminal. So escape to escape any mode that you're in, :WQ, right, quit, and enter. And there we are. So the git pull, from this master, I'm merging origin master into master, merged by recursive strategy, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You'll notice that there was a hello text that was added. It gives you some nice information. But also, if you look up at the top left, I now have my hello text right there. So how are you today?
Yay.
I am doing fine. Zaxby's.
There you go. Yes. My true personality. Not sponsored by Zaxby's. Nope, don't sue us, please.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, there we are. Sorry. There we are.
You spelled my
Better.
name wrong, Will.
Does it actually have a K? I thought it was just C.
It's an H. Will, you've known me for like a year, man. Come on.
Facepalm. Anyways, so I'm doing fine. And it keeps going. So I pulled down his changes, made a change to it, and you'll notice git status is still there. And so I'll do a git add on hello text. And then I'll do a git commit. Replied to Zach. Noticed how I still, and I'm using -M for the message, so I don't have to open up Vim. Enter that, and I'll do a git push. There we are. So I pulled down his changes, or I first pushed up a change to the README, but when I tried to push it that time, it wouldn't work, so I had to do a git pull. And I noticed he made a change to that as well. So I merged in those changes, I changed that file and pushed up, and so now if I go to Fluffy Doodle, you'll notice the README is updated with the new to-do, with that little checkbox. I love the checkboxes. But also the hello.txt has the new code as well. But again, this is a text file. GitHub can do more than that. This is Java, Golang, and stuff like that. And it's actually really smart about it. So if I go to a different repository just real quick, if you don't mind, Zach.
Yeah, no problem.
You'll notice this orange bar. If I click on it, it tells you that this program was written in 100% Java. It is a Java application is what it is. It will show you percentages too. So if you have a Golang application, it'll say it was built in Go and then this. So it works out really well. But I think that's it for today. What do you think, Zach?
Yeah, maybe just like a quick end note is that, as you can see with what Will and I were doing, it can get pretty convoluted with working with Git repositories, especially with a lot of people on them. So as far as like version controlling works, I believe Will actually touched on that in the last Git video. And also you can use permissions to control who can push what to when, and that sort of thing. But overall, no matter how chaotic it might seem, the basics of it are still there, with just always making additions, pulling down just before you pull, just in case, and then pushing up your changes just to see, so that other people can see what you did for the repo. And yeah, I think that's about it for today.
Alright. And Git tries to hold your hand along the way. So if you try to do something stupid, it's going to be like, no, don't do this. Try this instead. Or he noticed it will try and help you. So don't be scared of it. Go into it and try it out and see if it works for you. And if it doesn't, leave a comment below and see how we can help out. Maybe ask a couple questions. But this has worked out a lot for us. Maybe in another video we'll cover branches and how branches work. But that gets into a very, very complex scheme of things. I think I covered that in the last video. But GitHub does have a branching scheme, but it also has what's called a pull request, which is a great tool. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe below if you want to watch more videos. And we'll see you guys next time. See you later.
See you guys.
That was another long video, about 25 minutes, but I think we covered
that was
a
pretty
lot.
long.
But we covered some
But I think we did cover. Yeah. Hey Deep, how are you?
Oh, I'm fine.
So what do you think? Did you think of any new ideas, fam?
Well, honestly, I could just think of like new languages, but you know,
I mean, we could.
I could think of it like 20 minutes.
We could, but I don't know like how experienced Will is in like a bunch of different languages, right? Like
It depends.
Yeah, I know.
so what could
Actually,
like, what could we
that
do?
may be a good tutorial.
For you?
Here's the catch. If you give me a language that I don't know, as a software developer, I can go through the steps of how I learn a new language.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Also,
What
Zach,
would
I'm
you wanna
deleting
do?
it, but
what?
I'm
Oh,
deleting
yeah,
the
that's
repo.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't care. That's whatever. Fluffy Doodle. No, rip.
Right? That was a good name. I liked it.
The fluffiest doodle of them all. Oh. No.
But that was just an idea. We don't have to do that. And that may actually be a pretty awful idea, but it could be interesting to watch too. So
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like, because if we just did basics for every single language, it would get really boring and really stale quite quickly, just because it would end up being the same general process, right?
yeah. What
I
are
think,
the
'cause-
operators like? What's a boolean like?
Yeah. It's like, is there a reference operator? Because C++ and Java do it differently. Because if we cover languages, okay, so a list of languages that people would probably not get bored of: C++, C#, Python. You might even, like, because we did a JavaScript video, you might cover like PHP.
Oh no,
Uh,
no.
no PHP. Okay.
No PHP. I am
Okay.
sorry, hands down, I hate it. I have
Okay,
worked
that's
in it before, and I don't like it.
All right, man. See, that's the thing, though, right? Because like, if you covered like languages or whatever, it would get boring. You could do like interesting languages like mindfuck or brainfuck, but I mean, like,
I don't know.
I'm not really feeling it.
So
It's very limited.
I don't know. What were the languages you were thinking about, Deep?
First off for me, C#.
Okay.
Mhm.
But it's like mostly for me trying to improve what I've already coded.
Well, that's fine. That's always good.
Yeah, if we do a C#, that would have to go into ASP.NET. You guys don't know what that is, probably.
Nope, not at all.
But it's ASP.NET or games is usually what C#'s meant for.
Yeah, like Unity 3D game stuff.
Yeah, and I don't want to cover games because I actually I don't have experience in it. I have a lot more experience in ASP.NET, and that's still not much. At work, I do use C#, but I'm already building on top of a framework that's existed for 4 years. So I'm not actually coding in from scratch C# code, so I wouldn't know that aspect of it, if that makes sense. I can look it up, but also I need to make sure that I can run C# on a Linux machine, which I think they do with .NET Core. hold on to that idea for next time, Deep. But I don't think not tonight.
All right.
Write it down.
Yeah.
Pin it. Trello it.
Yeah, because I think Unity, even though it's C#, it's like a version of C#. And what I mean by a version is, I mean, they have a pretty deep framework on top of it. Like it's similar to what I work with at work. I have a pretty deep framework. I don't have to worry about routing and all this fun stuff with C# because my work's already built that out for me. But I also don't want to install Visual Studio. Even though I use Visual Studio Code, I don't want to install Visual Studio, so... We can go into more details with Go next if you want. I'm really against going with WPI lib. I mean, we can do it.
Like, I just don't know like what it would be for.
But every time you see it, it's gyro or analog input or robot drive and motor types, and
it's just kind of like a plug and play.
It's, hey, I need a gyroscope. Okay, here you go, and it works. Whoa!
Yeah.
Right?
Whoa.
But no, Deep, I understand that you do want to understand how this code works a little better.
Confusing as to how to explain that in a YouTube video.
Yeah. For a generic YouTube video, I don't think we can do it. But maybe at one of the meetings, I can sit down with you and maybe a couple other programmers and go through it in more detail.
I think that would be good.
I think, you know, we should probably wait until like the start of next season where we have new people coming in, so we can, like, you know, you don't have to reteach or anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. That's true. That's a good, fair point. Also, I have a train of thought. Where'd it go? It derailed.
Rip.
Right. Oh, okay. So how are we going to advertise robotics to West Florence or South Florence?
Well, okay, so we actually met on Friday at Luke's house, a few of us. It was me, Houston, Lemon, Sienna, Luke, Kylie, and Hyena, and we talked about a few different things. So,
are you sure Luke was there?
First, no, I mean, it was at his house, but I'm pretty sure he was gone.
Okay.
Mark filled in his place, though. So, so we talked about a few different things. As far as recruitment goes, we were thinking, like, okay, so if we used flyers, obviously people don't look at flyers.
Nope.
Especially like if they're in the hallways or on the doors, people don't look at those. So an idea that we actually had was you could, in previous years we've tried getting like school intercoms to announce it. People don't listen to that either. So you know, there was an idea that you could bring it to specific teachers, like maybe math, science, engineering teachers if you have an engineering class in the school.
What about registration day?
Yeah, registration days as well. Like we're planning on having tables. Wilson does have a table. I don't know about West or South, and we can try to get that up and running, like for registration and like school open houses or whatever. That would be good.
Computers, because I know they all have registration days on the same day, right? So you're gonna have 3 different teams, so to speak.
Yeah.
At 3 different locations. I know. Holy crap! I forgot his name. He was working on the video.
Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin. There we are.
Wait.
Right. Anyways, he was working on the video. Is that the video we're going to be showing? Are we going to be doing something else? I know live demonstrations is pretty much out of the question because we can't have...
Oh, yeah. Make 3 robots. Yes.
But I'm wondering, we can get 3 Raspberry Pis pretty cheap. We can get 3 Arduinos pretty cheap.
Oh, yeah. And just quick wire up like a light show or whatever.
Exactly.
With a breadboard.
We could do something like that. We can... 3 TVs is kind of iffy because I know we only have 1.
That's a bit too hard.
I have one that I'm willing to, donate for the day.
I don't know, man.
But what I'm saying is, we have options.
Yeah.
I'm thinking if you get an Arduino to one side, if you get a Raspberry Pi on another side, if you get... Wilson's pretty much... you guys have been doing it for years, so you guys have whatever you need there.
I mean, kind of. We typically what we do is we have a table and a sign-up form for like name and email. It's underwhelming, for sure. So
definitely, think about those two. Think about Arduinos, because I have an Arduino I'm willing to donate. I have a Raspberry Pi I'm willing to donate for the day, not for robotics.
Oh, I have a Raspberry Pi that I'm willing to donate, just in general.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know.
No, I'm keeping mine.
It's fun to play with.
I'm
it's
keeping
fun
mine.
to play with.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. But I'm willing to donate for the day, right? I mean,
I could always like buy one, and I'm just
right.
like, I don't know.
I could buy 50.
Exactly.
And I could build a cluster.
Okay, I can't be that like cavalier with my money because it's not my money, it's my parents' money. But
I can,
right,
because it's my money.
It's your money. Exactly. You can be cavalier like that. I'm sorry, I just turned 18.
I should spend it elsewhere. I should spend it elsewhere, but
yes, you should.
Anyways, so and actually I was looking into that. I could buy 6 Raspberry Pis. I can buy networking cables, Ethernet cords. Well, that's networking cables, and a switch and a power supply unit for all of them. And I can build a cluster of 6 Raspberry Pis, like a web server distributed system, on 6 Raspberry Pis for about $300, $400.
How long would this like be up? Forever? As long as we need it?
It's a server.
Just, oh my.
Right?
Oh,
and all it is a network switch. So all I have to do is plug it into, if I plug it into my router, I have to put port forwarding on it. If I plug it up somewhere else, I just have to be able to access the internet if I want it to be accessed from the internet. If I don't want it accessed to the internet, just plug it up to a network and then I can communicate it internally. So.
Oh yes. That's cool.
But yeah, $400 for all that.
It's pretty lit.
Yep.
Cool. Should have just made our entire website a Heroku app.
So that's one thing I want to cover with you, Zach.
Yes.
Do you know what Heroku is?
Yes. Well, okay. I'm not going to say I know what Heroku is because my knowledge of Heroku is about 2 weeks of summer just working on web apps.
Okay.
So it's not extensive, but I understand that it exists and that it's kind of like it serves up things and hosts like files on a web server, kind of.
Sort of, yes. Also, if you're looking for something more permanent, I would suggest DigitalOcean.
Whoa.
But
does this cost money?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's $5 per month.
Oh, money.
That's what I'm. If you go to willd.io.
Oh, is this your thing?
Yeah.
Or maybe this is just some other Will D.
Nope. I wonder which Will D is talking about Gradle Rio, the only person that actually uses it.
Will?
I need to take down this blog post that I haven't used it in forever.
Your caption is just
a wild adventure through technology.
No, that's not a wild adventure. No. It's not what that is.
Oh yeah, it is.
No.
Anyways, so
I refuse.
Anyways, getting back to the point. So, first thing to break is the cloud is just somebody else's computer. Right? Heroku, just somebody else's computer. What they're doing is they're selling virtualized portions of their computer. So the computer you may be running on may have like 16 cores on it, but they're only giving you a single core out of that 16 for your process. Because they can virtualize it and they can do all that fun stuff. Anyways, that's their end, right? They are virtualizing it for you to run anything you want within the scope of security, which makes sense. I mean, you don't want them to be able to go into your computer. So, whether that is serve up static files, whether that is to host a Golang application, whether that is to host a Java web application or whatever, it doesn't matter. As long as you're usually going to run a server on it. So if you just, what Heroku does is it ties GitHub into it and allows you, and it pulls it down and builds it, so you can tell it how to build your project and stuff like that. So Heroku is not cheap whenever you need to actually buy it, but it is great for development purposes, and that you can just put it up there to see if it works on a server.
Right.
So, yes, you can put static files on there and serve it up that way, but usually you don't. Usually I put an actual server up there, like actual other code.
Okay.
So the best way to think about it is just somebody else's computer, but just split into smaller chunks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what DigitalOcean is. DigitalOcean says, hey, if you pay me $5 a month, I can have the server up and running 24/7 for the whole month. $5 a month, here you go.
Worth.
And so I have a blog up there for it. But I may take the blog down and use it for something else, because I don't need it. I don't use it. It's February since the last time I put something up there. And it's now May. So, I don't know. It's nice to say that I have one. I also own that domain, by the way. willd.io. I also own, I think it's ClemsonNopoly94.com. Nope, Clemsonopoly. Is that Clemsonopoly? Yeah, it's Clemsonopoly.com.
Oh.
I actually own it, but it won't take you anywhere.
No.
Yeah. I think
How
I own
tragic.
logpulse.io as well. And that was my first Go application, like my first legit one. But anyways, that's besides the point. You notice I own domains. I know how to do web stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, I just wanted to make sure that you knew what that Heroku is just somebody else's computer, and it's a server. So you can put static files up there, but it is.
I mean, I get that it's a server because I remember like you can see how many instances of Heroku like you have on at once, and then like if you have more than a set number, then you actually have to like start paying. And
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So, but all right. So Deep, after that long conversation, have you decided on what we're covering next?
Deep, we were giving you time.
Oh yeah, my bad.
He's fine.
Alright, we could either go with a sequel to another video or come up with another.
Yes, this is indeed a path that we can take.
I thought those were our only two choices.
I'm pretty sure that was.
Is there a third choice?
If only.
Alright, what interests both of you the most? Like, don't speak at the same time, but what are your current interests in programming, as in, you are about to get out of high school, or getting out for the summer at least. What is your next step in your programming? I'm going to say career, even though you might not have a career in it. But what is your next step in learning? So what would your summer project be, pretty much? Or summer projects, or something you want to look into, but haven't had time to? Doesn't matter how complex.
I think... Okay, let's see. So, I know that over the summer I'm going to be working on this website. But that's not really something to cover a video on, because the website is boring as fudge. What are those things that you were going to work on, Will, that you needed a partner in crime for?
yeah.
One of them is already completed. The other one is that Busy Bee that I think you cloned down or forked.
I did already, yes.
That one I kind of abandoned. I say abandoned. I could use it. I can still work on it, but let's see. There's a tool that I'm using for work. Or there's a tool that's an internal tool for work that I had to add something to, and I hated it, so I am rewriting it. I rewrote some of it yesterday, and it's probably gonna start back up on it tomorrow.
Okay.
But I can't open source that because it's an internal tool. So
Fair.
other internal projects, microservices. I'm looking into those and actually helping out work with getting microservices stood up. I don't mind teaching about it, but I can't open source any of that as well.
Okay.
Which
So that's kind of all worthless. Yeah. Nice.
I mean,
Teaching
I
about
don't-
things that we can't work on.
Well, see, I can teach the topics and the ideas, but I can't actually give you the code that we're using.
Because privacy stuff.
Yep.
Okay. It is 9:30. If we don't come up with something in the next probably 3 minutes, 5 minutes, I'm thinking just only do 2 videos. Does that sound fair? Because I mean, like, obviously we need to start thinking about like what are we gonna do, because we're kind of lost with what direction we're gonna take this in.
Alright, so that was Zach's idea. Now it's time for Deep.
Well, honestly, that's all I was thinking about. Like I said before, a new language, but like that's causing some problems. But
So a new language, C#'s a little iffy.
yeah, I know. I think after that, yeah.
Let's see. I mean, Microsoft does have some good tutorials out there for it. Well, if I can load it, apparently. There we go. Yeah, I don't want to deal with .NET Core. I have been wanting to learn how to use Ruby.
Ruby. Okay, wait. So if there's Ruby, what is Ruby on Rails if there's just Ruby?
Ruby on Rails is the web server framework for Ruby. Ruby is the language. Ruby on Rails is the framework for the server.
Okay.
It's not baked into Ruby. So Golang doesn't have a Golang on Rails because the server is baked into the standard library.
Okay.
Ruby's standard library doesn't, so.
Is there Java on Rails?
Java server framework. Yes, Apache.
It would appear.
Oh, of course. I forgot. It was called Apache.
Okay, that makes more sense. Oh, Ninja. That's something I need to start getting into.
I'm pretty sure there's others. As you can see, there's a multitude of them. Right?
Right. Okay.
Yep, Spring apparently is a good one. I didn't. I don't want to have to cover it though. I don't know enough about it to be able to tell you. We can look up functional programming. It's a different type of programming, right? It's not object-oriented, it actually is functional, but I don't know enough about it to be able to go into it as much.
Would that be a thing for next week? Maybe?
If you do, you gotta tell me the language.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So Haskell I've heard is good. There's F#, Erlang. I've heard of all those are pretty good. It may be, yeah, that's what I'm saying, is it may be good, but I don't know if those are free, right?
Uh-huh.
It needs to be something that's free. I've used R. This is this. But
I don't even know what that is.
But it's for statistical data. R, J, K, and Q, apparently. What?
Dude. Oh, hey, XML stuff.
So, but yeah, if you want to do that, I would recommend Haskell, F# or Erlang, but you'd have to give me some time because I need to know it myself.
Mm-hmm.
Enough.
Would you want to do a video? Sorry.
Go ahead.
Would you want to do a video on like app development?
Like mobile app?
Yeah. Or web app. But probably mobile app.
I'm more comfortable with the web app, but a web app is just a web page with a bunch of JavaScript.
Yeah.
Because mobile applications, it depends on your software, right? I think Windows you use C#. If you use Android, that's Java. If you use
iOS,
actually,
it's Swift,
which is like Objective-C, I think is what it is.
And you can't. And I'm pretty sure they like don't let you write Swift stuff on a Windows computer.
Yeah, they don't.
No.
Plus, you have to like pay money or something for iOS.
Yeah, you actually have to like buy the thing.
Yeah.
I think
Otherwise
they
it just,
came
like,
out
comes
with a
with it.
new standard for Android. So
Android
Objective-C.
SDKs.
So Objective-C is to Swift, as Java is to whatever they came out with.
Mm-hmm.
So Objective-C is the base code to write your applications in, but Swift is the new language that they started moving towards. Same with Android.
Yeah,
Oh, there it
Android
is.
is just like Java, but with like a bunch of widgets and stuff.
Google's Android to now support Kotlin. This new programming language is compatible with Java and now officially supported on Android. So it's called Kotlin.
Oh, that picture looks. Oh yes, that
Yep.
looks wonderful.
I kept going.
Oh yes.
But, so, yeah. I can stand up a web server, talk about APIs.
Yeah.
Not necessarily stand up a web server, but you can talk about like Twitter APIs, you can talk about Facebook APIs and Google APIs. Not necessarily how to use them,
and
just
like-
talk about them.
Oh. If you
Right,
talked about
'cause-
those, yeah, you can like go more into depth and talk about like HTTP requests and stuff.
Yeah, I could if I wanted to. Alright, so for next week at least, I think I need to look more into C# because that's what Deep's interested in right now. If you want me to do functional programming, let's see.
Gotta tell you language early on.
Haskell versus F#.
6 times faster. That's so specific. Oh.
Don't use F#.
Use Haskell.
Yeah, because it's tightly connected with C# apparently.
I would have
Functional.
never guessed.
So Haskell.
Trivial.
Yeah, Haskell, Elm, or Elixir.
So it sounds like Haskell.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have to look more into it. It's a different way of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not getting into C#.
Not gonna lie, when I was looking at that and it was like how to start programming from scratch, I was like, how to start programming in Scratch.
Scratch. Huh.
Scratch a video.
Start
Yes.
Visual Studio is the first step in C#. No thank you.
Nope. Change guides. Change guides. Trash.
Alright. What do you want me to cover in the C#, by the way, Deep?
Honestly, I was thinking more,
Jesus Christ, what is that?
Yeah, did you just, like, hug your computer?
Deep, did you just like shove your mic down your throat?
No.
That's what it sounds like.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Like,
it
what does
did.
it sound like? I don't know what it is.
It sounded pretty overwhelming.
It sounded like it was muffled.
It sounded like it went down your shirt.
I think, like, the mic part of my earbuds, like, went up against my body because I started scratching my arm.
Yeah, that might be it.
Yeah, that was it. Anyways, Deep, what did you want me to cover in C#?
I was thinking more Unity-based C#.
Unity-based C#.
Yeah, that's why I added it. Hey, look, Houston's here.
Oh, sweet. Hey! Anyways, so, Houston, do you have any ideas on what the next video should be? Because we are running out of ideas.
I have to, like, drag her.
Oh yeah, Houston's here. Hi, Houston.
Alright, so, Unity programming, because I have no clue. I've never dealt with game engines before. It sparked my interest, but then I was like, I can do way better things with my time than to program a game that I know no one will ever purchase.
Blasphemy. That's the best part.
No offense. I mean, so I have a thing against beginning programmers wanting to become game programmers.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's,
Like,
if you don't set your goals
it's
high, you're
harder
never going
than
to
you
reach
would
them.
think.
I completely agree with it.
Right,
But you have to start somewhere.
but it's hard.
And I don't think game programming is it. Because, Deep, do you know what garbage collection is?
Not at all.
Do you know how the frame rates or excuse me, do you know the life cycle of a single frame and how you have a buffered frame and a rendered frame?
Somewhat, but that's just with rendering and modeling in C4D.
Okay. See, that's the thing is the game engine usually hides a lot of that from you, which is good, right? Because then you don't have to worry about programming it. But then you also don't have that much flexibility. And also, I don't really know how to interact with 3D models. I suck at 3D modeling. I have tried, and I will never do it again. um, so I can try to cover it.
I mean, you don't have to, but it's like a lot of other details. Basic JavaScript.
It's just I don't know. So it looks like it does look like C# in my opinion. Like it really is, right? That's all it is. But that Unity engine, having a mono behavior class, to me, what you're trying to learn is not C#. You're trying to learn Unity. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, it's like programming objects for Unity. More of.
Alright. Yeah, to me that sounds more like a Unity thing than it does a C# thing. The only reason I say that is I've programmed a few things in Java. But when I got to robotics, it was completely different because the framework is completely different. Well, I've programmed or am programming an enterprise software in C#, but that's completely different than enterprise game in Unity. So I'd have to go through and learn the Unity engine and stuff like that, which I do want to do one day, but I don't know if I can cover that in a single video.
I wouldn't meant to like see a little video. It'd have to be or not.
But yeah, did you see the task that I sent you in Slack?
No, I think it's fine.
Anyways, when you were talking about Unity, something that Jamie and I wanted to do is have a simulator for the robot. So that we could put our code on there in a 3D model and it would simulate it. But...
Oh, wait. Would you...
But then, like, you'd have to program individual things.
Yeah, that was the hard coming, right? We thought about it, and then we were like, I don't know if this is possible. Type thing, right? We were thinking about it, though.
If we're talking about cool stuff, do you guys want to do, like, an augmented reality headset? Just as a completely off, like, side note.
Wait.
For what? Huh?
I don't know.
Like,
For
are you talking about augmented reality, or are you talking about virtual
Yeah.
reality?
No. Like there are AR headsets too.
Yeah, I
I
know.
mean, I
I
know
know. That's
there
why
are
I was
VR headsets,
asking.
but-
I was looking for clarification.
Yeah, I'm thinking AR just because like if we do an actual VR headset for robotics, I feel like no one will ever do anything at the meetings anymore.
I don't think we should do any of them. Tell you the truth.
Hmm.
I do like augmented
okay.
reality, but
Sorry, I'm just kind of hyped for it because I remember seeing like a few different Reddit posts of people just like having kind of like their own fun, like just cool versions of smart dashboards. And one team, well, like there were a bunch of good designs and stuff for smart dashboards, and then one team had an AR like version of it with a freaking.
that is kind of nice. Well, I've already asked Zach and I've already asked Deep. So Houston, what are your interests in programming and where can we start? Because we need a third video for tonight and we are brain dead on what to do. Alright, what sparks your interest? When you hear programming, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Okay, second thing. Okay, third thing. Alright. Alright, so for coding. So, for example, I think Deep was interested in games. Zach, he doesn't show it and doesn't like it, but he does it a lot more, which is web design and web development. For me, I do command line stuff. So, command line terminal programs. Which one sparks your interest more? Or something completely different, like, I don't know. Like math. So, some people do physics, like some people use it for physics simulations and mathematics and stuff like that, so. That would be interesting to cover. Let's see. So what's a sequence you guys want me to cover? Monte Carlo method in Python, or in Golang? All it is random. We can do Monte Carlo method for Pi. I've done that before. We can do it for. We can do Fibonacci sequence, but I feel like that covers recursive functions. I would say calculating primes, but that's a little bit more difficult, because that's how actual cryptography works, is using prime numbers, so. So why not? I mean, people I use recursive for a lot of things. I use recursion for folder structures, so for walking a tree. But you have to figure out how to break out of it too. Oh, if this break or stop. So that works. If you want to deal with random, like pseudo-random, which that's Monte Carlo, right? That's time consuming. I have to change my system times, and she dropped. Alright. Man, oh my gosh, now that I can't hear you again. Yep. No, I can hear you. It's, for some reason, whenever somebody joins or drops the call, I think the connection gets disconnected for a second, and so it drops. I like Monte Carlo more than I like Fibonacci. But that's just me. Is there another thing?
We could look at like one of those What is that one website with like all the challenges and that if you
Oh, I don't know. And no. Yeah. Eh. Deep, what you thinking? You don't know what Monte Carlo or Fibonacci is? Alright, Monte Carlo is the concept of calculating something using random values. Random values. It's usually not used for that, no. But yeah. Monte Carlo is really a mathematical something or another. It is the idea of it's the idea of using random values to calculate something that has a solid value in the end. So like pi. Calculating pi using random values. And then you've heard of Fibonacci, but then that covers recursion, which is a function calling itself an infinite amount of times. Which one sounds more interesting? Fibonacci. Alright. Who's gonna do the video with me? And in what language? I can do it by myself. I gotta figure out how to spell it first. Baby. Alright, let's just make sure I can hash it out real quick. I'm probably going to do it in Golang. Just because I'm more familiar with it and I can do it fast. Alright. So we are stuck, or we are not stuck, but doing Fibonacci, right? Let's just make sure I got the concept down. Let's see, we want to calculate, and we're going to use we need the previous value and the next value, right? Not the previous and next. It just takes the last two numbers and adds them together, right? So A1 and A2, or value 1 and value 2. And then basically just if, or let's just calculate it, so we'll have value 3 equals a value 1 plus value 2, right? And if value 3 is greater than or equal to 1,000 for now. If it does, actually, if it's less than 1,000, then we'll just calculate using value 2, value 3. Right? And then there's your recursion. And then we'll do fmt print mine. I know I'm not recording. I'm making sure I have the concept down. Two, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34. That seems right to me. What do you think? Yep. Okay. And let's just add another 3. Because I'm curious. Wow, they get big fast. How big do you want to go? That's 1 million. Let's do 1 trillion. Gah. Quadrillion? I don't, dude, doesn't int 64 go up that high? Int 64. 2 to the 63rd. 2. Nope. 2 to the 63rd. Yeah, -1. Excuse me. Oh, well, why don't I just calculate it here? Math dot the power of 2 to the 63rd -1. There we are. Oh, okay. I was wrong. Okay. I thought it was. Why did it start rapping? Oh, I know why. Let's do the 60s. Nope. There it is. It is 63 -1. But what would happen is 1 call was before it, but right when it turns after, when it goes after is when it starts rapping. And so what happens is you have an overflow, and that's why you sell negative values. So that's about as big as I can get with it. But anyways, so that covers recursion that fast. That was kind of stupid. That's all of like 2 minutes. You still want me to cover it? I can erase it and do it. And it returns. That. And darts, so I prefer the Monte Carlo method because I can use darts and then X and Y coordinates and going through that. But I think this is easier to cover. Yeah, we'll cover it. Now I'll do it by myself. I'm fine with it. Unless you want to join, unless you want to be in the video. She's probably not even there. All right. She's like, oh, you've been in videos for the past 2 weeks. I've been in every single video. Yeah, the monthly bill and the face. I have the face for it. That's true. I mean, that's all in the internet video. You just require a cat, right? Because she won't stay in my lap that long. She's asleep on the bed right now. Come here. Come here. Wake up. Wake up. There we go. Oh, she's awake. Is it the golden... So which one is it? Is it the golden rule or is it the Fibonacci sequence? Because... Oh, it is the Fibonacci that does the spirals. Isn't it based off of it? What? Which is 1.6.18. Alright. Alright. Which is interesting. Anyways. Man, every time I do that I get cat hair. Everywhere. Oh my gosh. So it kicked you out again.
But I muted myself. What?
I know, but no, what I'm saying is... For some reason, it keeps dropping and picking back up.
RIP.
So
Alright.
I don't know. I need to make sure our videos actually do work, or else I'm going to sound like a crazy person.
What's wrong with that?
Oh, right?
Okay.
Alright. Anyways, I'm going to start soon. Hey guys, I'm Will Dixon. I'm here with Technomancers, Team 1758, and I'm by myself today. Everyone else got tired. I guess I just have the face, and I have the energy for it. So, anyways, I was going to cover recursive function, and a recursive function is a function that calls itself. Now, you got to be careful with them because it can cause an infinite loop, which will then throw your computer off, and your computer will fuss and all this and that. But a good way to just demonstrate a recursive function is using a Fibonacci sequence. A Fibonacci sequence takes the first two numbers and adds them to, so it takes the first number and the second number, adds them to get the third number, then it takes the second and third to get the fourth, and then the third and the fourth to get the fifth, and so it adds the previous two values together to get the next value. And so that's what I'm going to do today. Pretty simple and straightforward. I'm going to use Golang. It's a great way, my opinion, Golang is a scripting language for me, so I can, I'm pretty fluent in it. Any other language would take me a little bit more time, just because I'm not so familiar with them. But anyways, so we're going to enter our entry point, and I'm going to create a separate function called calculate, and this was actually going to do the calculation of the Fibonacci sequence. So we're going to do 1 and 1, or not 1 and 1, sorry, value 1 and value 2, and these are going to be integers, because the Fibonacci sequence starts at 1, 1, as you can see down here in the bottom right, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 144, blah, blah, blah. I'm wondering if there's a place that I can get, like, as many values as possible. Nope, apparently not. Anyways. So, simple way to do it. See some of the designs and stuff. It's a pretty interesting sequence of numbers and a lot of math that goes behind it, and a lot of people have done a lot with it. We're just going to do the simple one of actually trying to figure out what the Fibonacci sequence is. So we're going to try to get this. So our initial term will be, and it's just adding the two previous values. So I'm going to call value 3 equal to value 1 plus value 2. Now the reason I'm not actually just returning this or printing it out is because I want a logical statement to make sure that I don't actually run into an infinite loop. So we'll just say while value 3 is less than 100, right? Then, or if it's less than 100, then call itself with value 2 and value 3, right? So what this is going to do is it takes in two values, right? Takes in the first value and the second value. You have to start off with two numbers. And what it's going to do is it's going to calculate what our third value is going to be, right? And then we're going to use that third value, and we're going to use our second and third value, and then call itself again with those two values to get two new numbers. Now I have this. You don't have to have this. You can remove it. I don't advise it because it will make your computer go into an infinite loop. But this is just a safeguard to make sure. I'm actually gonna make it 1,000 because these numbers increase pretty fast, as you can see down here. But I'm actually, that's a safeguard to make sure that I actually don't run into an infinite loop. So then I actually just need to calculate it. There we are. Now if I run it right now, whoa, you see nothing. I didn't actually put anything to the screen. So I'm gonna print a couple statements. So we're gonna print 0, and we're going to also print 1 because that's the beginning of the two sequences. And then down here we are going to print out, let's see, we're print out value 3 because that's what we're interested in. We're interested in value 3. So now if I run it, you'll see it goes 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, and you'll notice it follows along right here with the 144, and it keeps going. It actually goes to 1,597 because it prints out before it actually checks the value. So that's why it went over 1,000. The biggest number that I can actually make it, and I have tried it, is I have to make these a float because that's what the powers take. Anyways, I wish I could make it slightly bigger, but if we do math.power to raise 2 to the 63rd minus 1, that is the biggest number that I can store inside of a variable. The issue with that is because it's a 64-bit computer and you can go into the computer science bit of it, all that fun stuff. That is the biggest number I can store into it. The issue that becomes here is if you go bigger than that, it wraps around to a negative number, which is actually very bad. Because then it causes another infinite loop. And actually, I don't mind showing you that, but you'll see, now you can see negatives starting to show up. When I stop it, you'll see there's negatives showing up, and it doesn't know what to do because it's going into that negative value because it keeps going over. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go to the 62nd power so it actually does stop. That way it doesn't actually jump over it. There we are. And you notice it actually goes pretty far. It goes to, I don't want to try to pronounce that. But if you looked up a document, so let's look it up, Fibonacci series, and I actually want the list. Let's look up the list. We got time for this. Well, where is it? Man, I just want the list. The first 300 numbers. There we are. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we keep going to, oh, that's the number. So we're looking for, and this just shows relationship data. So I'm looking for 288 and then 466. I'll try to, and actually what I can do, is print out, no, that's for a different time. Yeah, I could do this. IT for iterator. And I'll just pass in 0 because it starts at 0. Actually, iterator should start at 0, 1, 2, so we'll do 2. Because I've already passed in the 2 values, right? And IT++. And then pass in IT. And when we print, we're gonna print two of these values together, so we're gonna do that colon that, and we want to see that iterator and value 3. There we are. So now you can see 0, 1. Oh, so no, we want this to be 1. My bad. There we are. Alright, 0, 1. And if we look at the 91st value, which is apparently how high we can go up, 466030, blah 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 blah. Actually, let me go ahead and increase that for you guys because I know you can't see that, but I can. There we are. 91st value, right? There we are. So there we are. Which is apparently 13 squared times 233 times this number, which I don't know why that's significant. But yeah, so we could, on a 64-bit computer, you can calculate up to that. I say you can, there's actually other ways to go around it. That's for a different time. And there's the number before it, and you can see all that fun stuff. So, that's how recursion works. It's a function calling itself a number of times, but you just have to be careful. And I actually do use recursion a lot. You would think, oh, that's good for math. You can use it for like walking a file tree. For example, you start in a root folder somewhere. Well, you always want to check for the same file, but if it's a folder, do that function again, but inside that folder instead of this one. And you can do that. And since it's a tree, it's not an infinite branch. Well, at least with the file system, it's not an infinite branch. So I will sooner or later get to a point where I'll have no more folders, and I can bubble backwards up the tree and get values or do whatever I needed to do with the folders. So it's actually a very useful tool. That way you can program one function that does it for you and call itself again if something else happens. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you did like this video, please like and subscribe below. If you have any questions, please comment below and we'll try to answer your questions as soon as possible. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Alright, not everyone speak up at once now.
I mean, good job, Will. Way to power through. Show off your face.
So apparently that's pretty good. That's a big number. I'm kind of curious.
Oh, yeah.
I'm curious. There was something. Let me check something real quick. Why did this not work?
Okay.
No, you can keep talking. I'm trying to do stuff. while I'm thinking about it.
Alright.
But that's 3 videos. I can do a 4th one, but that's Monte Carlo if we do a 4th.
I'm not feeling that one right now. And I probably wouldn't want to force you to talk to yourself for another one again.
I don't mind. Oh, let me actually go to here. I saw somebody showed me. Somebody from work showed me something that was very interesting. Tea digest. A fast map reduce and parallel streaming friendly data structure for accurate quantile approximation. I would have to know when to stop. Yeah, because I would like, so this allows me to do is it allows me to add a value to another value, but if I get to a certain point, I can only go but so far. And so there's algorithms out there that help allow you to breach that 64-bit wall, right? But I don't know those algorithms, so that may be something for next time. And also, I'm gonna attempt the Monte Carlo.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and take my leave, and then I don't know, do stuff, get like fruit or something. So I will see you guys later, and I will probably be thinking throughout the week while I'm working on this website, like things for next week.
All right. If you want functional, again, you got to tell me in advance.
Right.
Thinking about it more deep, I don't think I will actually be able to do the C# with Unity.
Okay.
Because that's learning a completely different framework, and that deserves a channel of its own. Just to cover.
Or at least like a thing of its own.
Yeah, that's a different monster. I don't know if a live stream is a good place for that, especially for a robotics one. I'll be willing to cover C#, but when it comes to the Unity framework, it's a little different.
Oh yeah, I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay, bye guys.
Alright, see you later,
Bye.
Zach. Or see you later, whoever's leaving.
I'm probably gonna leave in a bit too after eating dinner.
Alright, I haven't eaten yet either.
Yeah, I also need to do that.
What? Eating's for wimps, apparently.
I mean, if none of us have done it, then I guess so.
Alright, well, I'll talk to you guys later. Because, yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Adios.
Alright, later.